Welcome back to the Legacy Podcast. My name is Olisya Grant, co-founder of Matrix Legacy Inc. We are back for episode number 32. This is the show where we create a blueprint for success, we look for ways to create generational wealth, and we break those chains of a poverty mindset. Now, before I go anywhere, I would just love to give a shout out to all of my listeners we got Brazil, Singapore, all throughout the United States, all throughout Canada, throughout the UK. I see Ireland, so many listeners from so many amazing places. If I missed you, I do apologize, and I appreciate you so much for tuning in with me every single week. If you have been enjoying the podcast up until this point, if you could go ahead and leave a like, a comment, a subscription, send this to a friend, all of that helps more people receive the same message. And it really helps us grow and expand the mission, which at the end of the day really is just to build and leave a legacy, to share information, and to come here and create a building block every single week that we can refer back to when we're at that point in our journey, or that we can listen to again and again until we get it. This is something that we're able to build together. And on that note, I actually put out a poll this week because I was bouncing between a few different episode ideas, and the one that was most popular on an 80% vote was about actually understanding what resourcefulness means. We talk about it all the time when it comes to building wealth, and we've talked about it on this show a few times. So on today's show, what I really want to leave you with is when people say be more resourceful, that's how you're going to build more wealth. I really want to explain what that means, and I also want to give you some tips. I'm going to leave you with 5 different ways that you can become more resourceful and start building wealth in your life today. I know there is so much uncertainty going on when it comes to careers, when it comes to health, when it comes to financial stability, and a lot of people are in a position where they almost feel trapped or lost and confused and not really sure what step to take next. So my goal, especially over these next few weeks, is just to give you enough tools and resources so you at least have somewhere to start. Even last week, I had my husband on the show and we spoke about an industry, network marketing, which really helped us to create the mindset that allowed us to be more resourceful and create more flexibility in our finances. And so that's why we took some time to share that last week. And what I want to share this week now is even outside of that industry and outside of, becoming really good at saving. How do we become resourceful with what we have? How do you start building wealth right where you are without having to go and overexert or throw yourself out in the deep end while still trying to manage your emotions and the anxiety that comes with all of these changes? What can we do right where we are? Okay, so when I say that it's very important to be resourceful, it's never usually a lack of resources. Sometimes people say, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy, and that's usually never the case. The case is usually we just haven't trained our brains in a way that allow us to see opportunities, that allow us to see chances and scenarios where we can create wealth, where we can cut back on our spending, where we can reduce our expenses, simply because we haven't been taught, or we haven't exercised the muscle that allows us to see these things. So a lot of that really comes from personal development. And again, the people who you surround yourself with are going to be able to push you to think in different ways, because maybe you might have grown up thinking, maybe money is the root of all evil, or wanting to be rich means that you're greedy. Little things like that. It's a certain way of thinking that we inherit. And if somebody doesn't come along, or we don't go out of our way to go and find a new way of thinking, we can get trapped in that bubble and start thinking that there's not enough to go around, when really the resources are absolutely unlimited. You just have to be able to see them. And so what I want to do is just hop in and give you guys 5 things that you can do right now where you are to create more abundance in your life when it comes to just your lifestyle in general, which then translates into your finances. So the very first thing at the top of the list, and do not turn this off when I tell you, because this is the foundation. You need this in order to become more resourceful. The first thing really is to protect your energy and protect your mindset. And what I mean by that is you have to remove all of those limiting beliefs that tell you that there's not enough, that tell you that there's not another way, that tell you that people who have a bunch of money just got lucky and the only way that you're going to become wealthy is if you win the lottery or marry rich or whatever that looks like. You've got to remove all of those limiting beliefs, and your confidence has to be on 100. Because once you've done that personal development work and you start seeing the opportunities to create abundance, there's going to be doubters, there's going to be obstacles, and there's going to be times where you're going to doubt your abilities. And you have to make sure that you've put in the work on yourself. So when those hurdles do come flying at you, you're able to defend yourself against them and really focus in and push forward and get what it is that you came for, or get what it is that you need. So the very first thing that you're going to have to do, protect your energy and your mindset. Maybe join some groups on Facebook, some book clubs, some virtual events, networking, things of that nature, so you can surround yourself with people who are going to be thinking the same. Crack open a personal development book, listen to some audios, connect to your spiritual side, whatever you have to do to quiet the noise in your environment and in your mind, and whatever you have to do to strengthen yourself. You've got to make sure that those things are protected, or you cannot become more resourceful, because you are the vessel. You are the deciding factor of if you're able to create the lifestyle that you want. The idea that's in your head, the knowledge that you're supposed to have more, it's not there by accident. It's there because you're already supposed to have it. You just have to tap into it and be able to grab it. But you can't do that with a weak mindset, with a toxic environment, with self-doubt and all of these limiting beliefs. So you got to take care of that first, that foundation. That is definitely number one, okay? Number two, and this one kind of flies under the radar because business in a lot of ways has moved to subscriptions. Subscriptions for, your weekly meals, and there's subscriptions for Netflix, and there's subscriptions to Amazon Prime, and subscriptions to book services and courses and all of these things. And sometimes we actually end up signing up for things that we don't remember or we don't use. And another part of that, especially as you start building your business, you're going to be signing up for a lot of business tools, software and things of that nature, that as you scale through your business, eventually those services are no longer needed or not valuable to you anymore. So what I would suggest doing is creating a list of all of the things that you're paying for on a subscription base, and take a look and see if there's any of those things that you could eliminate. But what I want to focus on here is that you're eliminating things that are not creating a return on investment for you. A lot of times we make the mistake of just eliminating the most expensive thing. Okay, this thing on my list, I'm spending $75 a month. Everything else I'm spending under $20 a month. But that $75 a month might be the thing that's actually generating you the biggest return. So sometimes people want to axe their mentorship program or cut out the course that they were taking or eliminate things that are actually providing a solid return on investment just because it's the most expensive. So that's another way that we have to change our way of thinking and stop worrying about what's going to cost the most, but what's creating the most value, and what things are just cluttering up your space, not creating value, but just taking money out of your pocket and there's really no return. So sometimes we pay for things that we might have needed in the moment. 5 months later, we're not even doing that project anymore. We're not even building that part of the business anymore, but we're still paying for it because we didn't track it. So when you're taking a look at your subscriptions, take a look and see, what am I actually gaining a return on investment from? And if it's like a course or a mentorship program or something like that, take a look at yourself and see if you're really putting into it what you need to be putting into it in order to get back your own return on investment before you decide to cut out those things. Cut out the things that are only draining money from your pocket or only draining value from you, and not actually creating a return where you're able to make money now, or you will be able to make money in the future because of those specific resources and subscriptions. So just make sure that you're paying attention to the things that are creating value for you. So that second thing there, just in a little nutshell, is scale back on your subscriptions. The third thing is to monetize the things that you're already good at. Now, if you are like me, when I first started, I didn't know what it was that I was good at. And what you can do in that case, if you're wondering, like, what are my strengths? What can I monetize? You can literally do a peer review. Ask your friends and family, hey, if you had to come to me with a specific issue, what would it be? What would you come to me for advice on? What do you think I could help you with? And they'll tell you, you know what? If I needed to know something about basketball, I would come to you. And what that means is, hey, maybe you could start up a basketball insight page on Instagram, or a podcast where you do a recap of the games or an analysis of the players. Maybe they would come to you for, if I needed a new recipe idea, or if I needed an idea on a creative gift to create, I would come to you for that. Well, then maybe you could start thinking of a little arts and craft business, or maybe you could put together a recipe ebook that you could sell, right? It's really important to understand how the world sees you, because especially now when people are looking for ways to create more income, to create more flexibility in their lives, they're looking to build new skills. And if you could create a course, if you could create a manual, if you could create some kind of training or whatever that looks like, then you don't really have any other work to do other than package what you're already good at, what you already love, and what people already recognize you for. You can build on that. So really take a moment, zone in. What are your strengths? And if you can't see them on your own, ask the people around you to help you out with that, and then find a way to package that, and you can create money that way. There's so much that you can do, but you first need to zone in on what are your strengths, and then you can focus on how do I monetize that. So the third thing that you're going to want to do in terms of becoming more resourceful is to look for ways to monetize your strengths. Fourth thing, and this is my favorite, it is clear the clutter. So if you look around your house, look around your workspace, I'm sure there are things there that you haven't used in the past 6 months, the past year, that are still in excellent condition that you can sell. So now you're killing two birds with one stone, because you're clearing your space, which means you're clearing your mind, because your exterior environment is just a reflection of the way that things are going in your mind. So if you feel like you're all over the place, I can almost guarantee that your space is also all over the place. So if you're able to create some income and some flexibility and some space for yourself simply by selling things that you already have, that's another way to do it. And there's so many platforms for that. You got eBay, Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace. You could literally hop on any of your social media pages and just offer your items. There is so much that you can do to create some more income. And then what you can do with that income is invest it in yourself, in your business, in the stock market, in whatever it is that you're looking to do. The things that are just taking up space in your home, you could trade those in for cash and use that cash to invest. So the fourth way is to clear the clutter. Sell the things you're no longer using anymore. And that is another way to be resourceful. And then here's the fifth one. A lot of times, especially as startup entrepreneurs, or for those of us who might have a big ego, taking on a part-time job or a side hustle that's going to be able to help you over the hump temporarily. I know sometimes, especially as entrepreneurs, your pride gets in the way and you say, I don't ever want to take on another job. I don't ever want to work for somebody else. Or I'm going to make this business work, so I don't need to be doing anything else. Don't put yourself between a rock and a hard place just trying to look good for yourself, or just trying to look good for the people around you. Set yourself up for success and take on a part-time job. There's so many things you could do. There's a ton of places looking for cashiers, a ton of places looking for virtual assistants. There's websites like TaskRabbit where you can go and literally help people put together like IKEA furniture, or other projects, other little mini projects that they have going on in their house to make some extra money. You got Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, any retail or customer service work that doesn't take a whole lot of your energy or too much brain power. That's what you're going to want to take on, because you can make a stable or at least a predictable income in that part-time job. And then you can focus your energy and your creativity on the project or whatever it is that you're building on the side. So if your ego is the reason that you haven't applied to, do some food delivery on the side or whatever that looks like while you learn and you sharpen your skills, just put that to the side. Your future self will thank you for getting out of your own way and not worrying about perception or what people are going to think, and instead worrying about what is it that you're focused on building, what's your purpose, what's your mission. Taking on a part-time job is definitely a way to help tie up those loose ends or make those loose ends meet. so that you can focus without anxiety and stress about paying the bills. You can focus on what it is that you're building. And what it is that you're building could just be yourself for now. If you're just focusing on that personal development aspect of it, absolutely do that and take on a part-time job to sustain and cover the bills while you build yourself, so that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you don't ever have to do that again, because you put yourself in a position and you've put in the work. So now you have the options to do as you choose. So I'll run through those 5 things one more time. The very first one is you got to protect your energy and your mindset. Set that foundation. Second thing is scale back on your subscriptions. Not the most expensive ones, but the ones that are not yielding you a return on your investment, either right now or in the future. Third thing is to monetize your strengths. If you're not sure of them, ask your friends and family what it is that they would come to you for, and then find ways to package that. Fourth way is clear the clutter. Sell the things that you haven't used in 6 months, a year, because that probably means you're not going to use them in the next 6 months to a year. And if you will need them, well, then you can just repurchase them. So stop trying to convince yourself that one day you're going to need it. If you haven't used it in a year, I would say that's a very good signal that it could go. Okay. And then the fifth one is to just take on a part-time job, whatever it is: virtual assistant, customer service, food delivery, whatever you've got to do to make those ends meet. Give yourself that peace of mind and the space to work on yourself and grow and become more resourceful that way. Okay. So the building block of the day essentially is there is absolutely no lack of resources. It's often just a lack of resourcefulness. And so in order to become resourceful, we've got to change and train our brain to see and observe things in a different way, so we could pull out the abundance and not focus so much on the lack. So I hope at least one, if not all of those tips helped you. If they did, go ahead and send this to a friend. As I said before, like, comment, subscribe. All of that helps more people receive the same message. Thank you so much for being here with me for another week. You can download the Matrix Legacy app to stay up to date with all our new content, including this podcast, our academy, and daily quotes for motivation. I will be here next week with another building block for success. Until next time, let's build a legacy.